Hello and welcome to Green Angle, the show that explores the environment we live in and the ecological problems we face while proffering sustainable solutions. I am Ugochi Oluibo. On this episode of the program, we are at the point of no return in Badagry, southern Nigeria, to talk about eco-tourism. I have my bottle here. I don't want to buy disposable water bottles, and I have two ladies in the house to talk about this. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Fumi and Nena.
Hi, Ugochi.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. This place is beautiful, but it's sadly very dirty.
Very, very.
How sad are you?
I mean, this is a beach. Like, when you come to the beach, you're coming to a clean, healthy, natural environment. But you don't want to come to a trash zone.
No, you don't want to, because you want somewhere you can sit down and
We can
relax,
sit over here.
enjoy the beach, enjoy the ocean. So you don't want to come and stay somewhere dirty and be sitting down and seeing ocean.
Absolutely.
It's not. That's not what beach is about.
Yeah.
You know.
This place should be cleaner than this.
Okay, so let's talk about what does sustainable tourism mean to you?
Sustainable tourism to me is the concept of we tourists, people that come to visit a tourist attraction place. You come there to leave an impact. When I say leave an impact, you're trying to help the economy, the environment, and also, of course, you're trying to help the people that live in there, the social, economic, cultural things you're doing. So if I come as a tourist, I don't litter a place. So I try to make sure I allow the place, make it neat. So we're here together. If I bring my bottle and I throw it on the floor, I'm one of the people causing it as a tourist. Don't litter, respect the culture of the people. Don't waste water, like you now have your own bottle, you refill, you're not going to throw it on the floor. So sustainable tourism is that you're doing something that's continuous and it's going to make an improvement to that environment. So as tourists, as this is a tourist site, our part is to ensure that we come somewhere and leave the little impact. Don't go to the beaches and pick up the seashells. It's wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's wrong.
Tell us about it.
Leave it where you found it. Leave no trace. Leave it where you found it. That's what makes it the tourist site. If you're taking it, tomorrow you'll find it again.
Don't take the turtles, don't take
the turtles, don't take the seashells.
Why would anybody want to take a turtle?
Yeah, souvenir. That's what they're saying.
That's what
So
It's
leave
going
it.
to die before
Don't.
you get to mainland Lagos. Anyway.
You know, so that is what sustainable tourism is. You're trying to continue, as even tourists, you make an impact in the tourist places you can find yourself.
Okay.
What people don't understand is that plastic doesn't biodegrade. It does eventually, but it takes so long that it might as
Over
well
100
not
years.
biodegrade. But it breaks down into fragments. And when it does, fish and other sea creatures see it as food and eat it, and then it goes and it destroys their digestive system, tampers with their system, then we eat it.
Yes, we eat it.
And then it tampers with our system. And then we start to ask ourselves, which in my village
Yeah.
is something that can
Exactly.
that's angry with my father.
Microplastic
yeah,
and
microplastics, and they biodegrade and they disintegrate,
And it's
even
into
though
the
they're not
body.
completely degrading, they're disintegrating, and it's a problem. We're not supposed to eat plastic. Fish are not supposed to eat plastic. The ones who eventually survive, we eat. The
And
ones
then
who
affect
don't
ourselves,
survive, they
environment.
die, and then we start to see species dying off. There's so many environmental challenges.
Too
the
many.
trees, for instance, this place used to be covered
With
in
coconut
trees.
trees.
With coconut trees. There's some beautiful ones that are left. I love coconut trees. I love anything
Yeah.
that's related to palm. They're beautiful. It's one of my favorite species. Because these trees were here to prevent erosion. As the ocean comes back, it has something to hit against
Yeah.
and return. But when the trees are no longer there,
It was
the coastline starts to shrink
Yeah, that's
and shrink and shrink. And we ask ourselves, what could the problem be with that? But this place needs sand. It needs beaches.
Yeah.
It's by the coast.
That's the
And
whole idea of
erosion is one of
tourist
Badagry's
sites.
biggest challenges. That's what I think. In terms of sustainable
Yeah.
tourism, we need to work on the erosion as well, apart
Yeah.
from littering.
how difficult is it for you people in the tourism industry to educate people on the need to not litter, to be more eco-friendly when they come out on tours? Tell me about any experiences.
Well, I've started doing something on my Facebook page. I talk about sustainable tourism. I talk about things we should not do. Little things that look like nothing, but they actually affect us. And the feedback I get is like, hey, oh, so I shouldn't do this. Hey, but I like to do this. Someone told me, I like to pick seashells. I said, please stop picking them, leave them there. Because it's what makes the place beautiful. You saw the seashells there because it was still there. If you took it and someone else doesn't see it, why? So because we have a poor maintenance and conservation culture, it's actually hard to change the mentality of people towards that. But it's a gradual thing. And tourism is becoming a big industry that people are now recognizing in Nigeria and in Africa. So if we gradually, as tourism boosters and tourism promoters, keep sending out the message to people every day, even if it's just one post a day in social media, or when you see people, that's the only way we can help change people's mentality. If not, to continue like that.
Okay, so for me, how difficult is it for you to talk to people?
It's a bit difficult, but I don't think it's the most impossible thing.
Exactly.
I'm an environmentalist, I'm a geographer, and anybody who has been on any of my trips will tell you that there's always going to be an environmental aspect or angle
Tell us about
to my
it.
trips.
Okay.
Yes, there has to be, because or else, if, you know, what's the difference between coming to my trip and another trip? So we come, we have fun, we learn, we interact, but I like to build a healthy respect for nature in my tourists. And it's something that should last beyond now, beyond when you leave my tour, when I drop you back home. You should be able to say, now, when next I go to a beach, I know how to interact with the beach. I know how to have a healthy respect and awe for water.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to swim, I know my ability and I know how far to go. Water respects nobody, but it also has no enemy. But it's water. It can carry you.
Absolutely.
And it's the same for forests. I tell people, an ant has gone by, it has not disturbed you.
Don't
Let
kill
go.
it.
You go to a
I know it's
forest,
hard.
It's
but
hard,
let
but
it go.
until it bothers you, leave it.
Yeah.
And it might be silly for an ant, but that's how people learn that, oh, okay,
Even
this,
this little thing.
this little thing matters.
Matters.
When you go to a forest, learn how to interact with nature. We might be at the top of the food chain, but we're there as shepherds, not as conquerors to destroy the earth, to see how powerful we can be, how to show how that we're, you know, how reasonable or how much of the most developed species we are. We're there as shepherds, and a shepherd will always protect his flock.
Yes.
A shepherd's job is to protect the flock, tend to the garden, make sure that everything is in sync, the ecosystem
It's all going round.
is going round. It's a circle and
Going
not
round.
a straight line.
It's a
something that has
balance,
an end.
exactly.
There is no away in nature. Like they say, we only have one planet.
Yes,
There's no
so
plan
you have
B.
to take care of it.
So it's very, very important for me to build in my tourists this healthy respect for nature. Nature is your friend. And guess what? You are a part of nature. So when we stop seeing nature as the trees, the forest,
We're
the
so
water,
stop seeing ourselves as that.
we stop seeing ourselves as removed from it. We are nature. We're just another species existing in nature, and we're there to serve a role as protectors, as shepherds, as nurturers of the environment.
How can the government support? I mean, we spoke to the tour guide, and it seems like just the community, it's at the forefront of sustaining this space. They try to clean up, they try to do things, and it seems like most of the places you've been to, you've mentioned that it seems abandoned by the government.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm not one to throw all the problems to the government, because at the end of the day,
It's still us. I don't want our help to make it happen.
Yes, we're citizens. We have a responsibility for everything.
Yes.
But something as big or something as wide scale as tourism requires government support. It's the government that will put in a structure that will enable private tour operators excel. And for me at TVP Adventures, we depend a lot on several different vendors. We depend on infrastructure.
Yeah.
We depend on coming to a place like Badagry and making sure that the destination we are bringing people to is maintained.
Yeah.
It exists. It's clean. There's a working toilet. The artifacts are preserved. We need these things. I'm not going to create history on my own.
Absolutely.
I can bring people here, but I need to know that whenever I bring people here, they will be met. That's something that I would meet. So I think the government has to help us in terms of sustaining the environment, sustaining policy that would enable private, public, everybody, enable the entire ecosystem thrive. And there's something to be said about someone who takes something from the environment, uses it and returns it. There is sophistication in being able to complete the cycle of nature.
Yes.
I don't think sophistication is taking, using
away,
and throwing it away to an abstract place that's out of our minds. It's very important for us to remember that away is where we started.
Tourism is our oil that doesn't run dry.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's our culture, it's our way of life.
It's almost an infinite resource.
It's an infinite resource, for goodness sake. So I don't know, it still gets me upset that the government doesn't see. Well, they're trying now. I clap for them, but they can do more.
Have something here.
Yeah, they have something here. Can you maintain it? Maintenance culture. Maintenance culture. That's what we lack in this country. So if we try and maintain what we have, it's not just having a structure. Are you guys going to maintain this thing that even when I come back in the next 10 years, I'll still see it and I'll say, oh, this is something. So it's not just building monuments. what are you also doing for the environment? What policies have you put in place that will help tour guides like TVP, Adventure, and people like me, Nenuwa, who I talk about sustainable tourism? What policies are you putting there so that we can help and ensure that this place is preserved? You know that we'll come here and see dirt everywhere. Yeah.
Kenya makes majority of its income from tourism. A far second is agriculture. It's still nature, and that's a far second. They have tea farms. The hills are covered in tea and coffee, and it's beautiful. I've gone horse riding on a tea farm before. Stunning. Somebody planted tea, bought horse,
Wow.
and took money from me to ride through it. It was stunning.
Wow.
We have hills in this country.
We have
There's a
cocoa
lot that we
plantations.
have cocoa plantations. We have tea plantations. There's a lot that we can do with tourism. We don't have to depend on the old ones, just the mountains and the caves.
Yeah.
We can manufacture tourism.
Yeah.
But we're not thinking along the lines of that. You know, Rwanda, you talked about the tree houses. Do you know that one of the biggest attractions to Rwanda is the gorillas?
Yeah, the gorilla trek.
watching.
The
We
gorilla
have this.
trek.
We have gorillas that are almost extinct in Cross
Absolutely, in
River.
Akwa Ibom.
Right. And in Akwa Ibom. Do you know how much they charge to view the gorillas? 800 United States dollars.
That's a lot of money.
800 US dollars. I know a lot of people who go to the other side of the border so that it's cheaper for them. And we're here, we have a wealth. Instead of conserving it, we're cutting down massive forests to build unnecessary highways.
What is the role of communities in maintaining these places? I mean, you said the government has a lot of work to do, tourists have a lot of work to do, but the community, do they understand the value of what they have, or have they just sold out to the government?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
The community is the repository of your resource. They hold the information, they hold the legends, the stories, they hold the human aspect of these places. When you go to places like Ikogosi, Idonre, Eri-Jesha, it's community people who tell you, this is how this mountain came to be. This is what the hot and the cold spring means. They tell you the history behind these places. They tell you how their forefathers lived here, how they interacted with the land, how they conserved in their own way. They might not have called it conservation at those times, but when they planted today and waited 2 years to plant again, it was conservation.
So thank you so much for your time, ladies.
Thanks for having us to go.
Talking about eco-tourism, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're watching Green Angle, and next is Eco Reports on Green Angle. Lipstick. That's our program for today. Remember to always send your comments and suggestions using the addresses on your screen. And if you do have a green project or idea, send us a 2-minute video or photo and we'll help you share it with the world. I am Ugochi Oluibo. It's called The Point of No Return, but I'm definitely returning home.